So here this is a list. I'm using for loop. So the square bracket which indicates that list of variables, which is the variables are separated by a comma. So here it's a list, and in a list again we have a kind of variables which are separated, like John, and these subjects are like another list. Okay, so I'm using count is equals to 0 to count the variables. So to find how many students are opted for Python, so as per the question. So here I'm taking for loop. So this total students, so I have taken I in students. So this says that so what all the variables which are there in students list, I'm taking it as I. So again I'm using for loop, so which is used to identify a single variables, like which the contents of John, I'm taking I as an index 1. So here, for example, this starting line John. Hello, am I audible, sir? Hello, guys.
You're audible. You're audible.
Yeah. So I'm taking this. So for example, here the first line John. So it goes here in the J loop. So it counts. See, if the Python is opted, the count is incremented to 1. So I'll run this. So I can see the number of students opted for Python is 3. So here we can see in the John is opted for Python, and this, and only 3 members are opted for Python. And we can change the string also. See, I'm going to change not only Python, I can choose physics too. See, number of students opted for physics is 1. So here we can say that the strings, so in a list, so in a list the items need not to be the same type, we can choose a different type. So this was the first question, and the second one is to create the sequence to starts from some given n, and to generate the next term of the sequence from n. So either by halving the sequence, so when it is even, or by multiplying by 3 and adding 1, so if it is odd. So I'm taking n is an integer, so input I'll enter the value of n. So here while loop, as mentioned in the question, we must use the while loop, so I'm using the while loop. So here n is not equals to 1. So when I'll just take an example of 6. One second. Yeah, I just taken a 6. So when I just given a sequence, I mean enter the value in n place, so it goes to here, I mean with the first place. So 6 is not equals to 1, so I'm printing the n. So n is, I'm just tracing the given n, so 6 is my n, so it has printed here. So, and next if loop is where 6 is modulus of 2 is equals to 0. So the remainder is 0, so it is goes to, I mean it goes to the next loop, so where the halving of the number, so 6 is an even number, so it goes here. So 6 divided by 2, so here it is on floor division. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, so it has printed here. So again it goes to the same while loop. So 3 is not equals to 1, and 3 is a even number, so it directly goes to the else loop where 3 into 3 plus 1, so it is odd number, so the 10 is printed here. So on this continues until it reaches 1, and later it terminates. So we can see here again 10 is not equals to 1, so it has printed here. Okay, and and same it is an even number, so 10 divided by 2 is 5, so it is an odd number. 5 plus 3, 5 into 3, and 15 plus 1, 16, so on. So this is a sequence of an n value 6. So, any doubt, guys? Hello? Hello? Guys, you can please respond.
No doubts.
Yeah, thank you. So here, this is the another program, so which is to read the contents of files. So to read a contents of file, we must need we must need the name of the user. So here I'm using the read line. So because I can read the first line first, so I'm using the read line. So we can use read also. Here, see, I'm opening a file in a read mode. R indicates a read mode. So the file should be in a .text format. So and I'm using a while loop to print the first line and then read the remaining lines and print till the end of the file. So I'm using the while loop. So here I just typed an note, I mean text format. So this is hello world. How are you doing? So I'm gonna enter this name of the file. So I just gave the name of an file is python dot xt. So here you can see, I mean the same text which was there in a notepad is printed here. So here file2 opens a file name which I will give. So A is, and in a read mode. So in a read mode, it only reads and prints. Okay, and line is equals to file2 and read line. So read line, as I said, read line is used to print the first line. I mean first line first. So while loop. So here the read line outside the while loop is used to read the first line. So inside the loop, the first line is first printed and the remaining lines are read and subsequently printed. So here we can see the subsequently printed lines are this. So first line is hello world, and this continues until the end of the file, and later it exits. So on the next program is, I mean in the same text, how many lines, I mean I'm counting the number of lines in a text file. So here I'm not using the read line, I'm just using the file name and with open. So with open is used to make a I mean with open is used to get a simpler exception. I mean without, I mean exception by handling encapsulating common preparation and cleanup tasks. So without the with statement, I should use the open file open and data. Again I should read, and again I should print the data. So with open statement, I can easily print the file name and in a read mode. So here the same, I'm gonna take the text. See, the number of lines present in the text document is 2. So here the file is opened using the open function in a read mode. See, we can see is open function in a read mode. So this file name is as open in a open function with read mode. So I'm taking for loop to
So,
read each.
Timur, sorry to interrupt you, man. So instead of using f is equal to open of f name or f is equal to input of f name or enter file name, you are using
Yes,
with open f name comma in a read mode as f. So
yes,
it
sir.
is as good as taking f is equal to open of some input argument or with open. So this is other way of expressing the file open, right? File handling,
Yes,
the
sir.
file handling
Yes,
cases.
sir.
Okay, good. Okay, man. Yeah.
So again, here see, I'm used for loop because to read each line in the file. So so later on, see in line in F. So I'm taken is count is equals to 0. So it counts. so the line count is incremented each time and the final count is printed. So here I'm just taking the print as number of lines. So I'm printing the number of lines which are present in the text. So we can see the text here, it has present only two lines. So the number of lines present in the text is 2. So I'm just printing that lines. See here it has incremented the number of lines present in that text file. So any doubts? So I'm done.
Yeah. You're done with your presentation? Okay. Okay,
Yes.
guys, do you have any questions, or do you want to communicate or interact with your friend, or if you like to add some flavors to the program which he had explained, so you can also do it in different ways. So if you have any other interesting ways that, okay, sir, we can also do in this way, it's most welcome. We'll instruct Timman Gowda to type your program, or you can share your screen and just try to explain. So, guys, kindly make use of this kind of platform, because it is not meant for few. Anybody can just have written another program of another application, and I just want to share with my friends. It's most welcome. Yeah, thank you, Timan Goda, right,
Yes,
for
sir.
your
Thank you, sir.
presentation. Guys, if you have any doubt, or if you need to address something, you just share.
Sir, shall I stop sharing the screen?
Yeah. You can stop.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So none of you have anything to say? So, so nothing? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
If you don't speak up, I will mark absent here.
Sorry, sir.
You have to speak out. You have to use this platform to present. See, I have another 3 minutes. If you want to share, or if you want to the same like the activities which you have done, it's a very simple activity. I know, I can understand, it's a very simple activity. Why? Because many of you people are new to this programming, and Python programming syntax, equations, statements, constructors are huge. There are more and more libraries, there are more and more functions. This came into existence even before we have before you guys born, right? This structures has been used 25-30 years, but in a different way. Most syntaxes in embedded systems, most syntaxes used by embedded C has been modified, has been made to fit in Python, and been used for different applications. So you should be very careful in understanding the subject at the basic level. If you are good in understanding at the basic level, we are going to use this as an advanced operations, but the basics remain same. So in the next class, so this list and strings will take a different turn, or a different dimension, in terms of objects and values. Objects and values are at a different level of programming. See, we call Python is associated with object oriented programming. It is also an OOPS based concept. What do you mean by object oriented programming? I'm just trying to discuss a general concepts in another 2 or 3 minutes. What do you mean by object oriented programming? I have discussed this in the previous class also. Guys, I'm asking you people, what do you mean by object oriented programming?
Classifying large programs into smaller objects.
Okay. So you want to classify or you want to structure the program into small pieces of objects.
Based on functions and procedures.
I can
Like
call it as
class,
functions. No, I can call it as functions. I can call it as class. But where is object now? What do you mean by object? See, that is why I told you should be aware of some terminologies, some terms which are used in Python or any programming languages. What is a value? Value is a small amount of, it may be an integer data, a data which is assigned to a variable. You call it as a value, right? So now, what is value? What is object? Can I say object is an instance of a class? Object is an instance of a function. If you people open a Gmail account, if you try to open your own Gmail accounts, okay, you have a Google, you have a Gmail server or Google server, where if you try to open a Gmail account on your screen, you'll get a username and password. That is an instance where a programmer has created a program which communicates with user and the server. So programmer has given you one instance to enter a login ID and a password. Whereas another person will try to log into the say other Gmail account to his Gmail account with his user ID and password. That is second instance. Again, that is an object. Object 2, object 1 belongs to the same class of that program. So here, suppose if you want to book a car in a BMW or in a Mercedes or in a Maruti showroom, say for example. So how we are going to book a car? A particular individual will create an instance and will be allowed, the user will be allowed to enter the details like what model you want, what segment you want, right? Yes or no? Hello.
yes sir.
So he will be creating, he will be writing an instance, he will call that instance and you call it as an object, correct? So instantiation is also called as an object. Creating an instance is called an object. Now, suppose if I say A is equal to a string apple, B is equal to again a string apple, where A and B both are strings. Okay? Yes or no? What is the type of A? What is type of B? Type of A is a string, type of B is a string, which has got same values, right? Hello?
Yes sir.
We have same values for A and B, correct? Those two values are understood as a strings. And A is an object or A is a string. I hope you're following this. A is an object or an instance of a string called apple. B is also an object of a string with value called apple. Is A and B same? My question is simple. Is A and B same? You can use an operator called is. Just say A is B. You will get a boolean values, true or false. You can type it on your screen. A is equal to apple, B is equal to apple, A is B. You will get true. Are you getting my point? Why? Because string, the elements or the characters inside the strings cannot be muted. So the object will be created only one. There is one object which is created and there are two values assigned to which are same and which is assigned to a single object here in this case. Whereas if you create A is equal to 1, 2, 3 as a list, B is equal to 1, 2, 3 as a list with same elements, with same values, with same length, and now you give A is B, what is the answer that you get? You'll get false. Why? Because list creates two different objects. A is different object, B is different object. Why? Because the elements inside the list can be changed. So A is B, definitely it will be false throughout your programming because you have two different objects there, and those two different objects will never be same though it has got same values. If you have two objects like A equal to B in terms of string, those will be same. The object will be same with the same values. Why? Because strings are immutable. Here in terms of list, since it is mutable, so it creates two different objects. A and B are different. Though you have the values same, 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. Both A and B list values are same. You will be creating two different objects. Why? Because for list, it will understand as an mutable objects. So it creates different memories. It creates different memory locations. It creates different instances. So two different objects are created when you're trying to operate on two different lists. As soon as you say A is equal to list 1, so it creates one object. It creates an instance. It will not be the same instance, or it will not be the same value. Okay. I hope you are understanding this concept with respect to object and values. I need some response, guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once this is the end of the session, I'll give you one more homework. You just type A is equal to string, B is equal to string, same values. Just say A space is B. What is that you are going to get? Record it. Now in the next cell, you type A is equal to list, that is square bracket 1, 2, 3. Again, B is equal to square bracket 1, 2, 3. Again, say A is B. You will get false. Why are you getting true there? Why are you getting false here? For string, you are getting true, but for list, you are getting false. Just try to rectify on your own. It is depending on the same concept what we discussed just now, depending upon the objects and values. Okay. So just try to do it. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for attending this session. Timan Goda, thank you, man. Once again. Take care. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Happy weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.